All right. You ready to get this gravy train a-rolling?
Yeah.
Well, too bad.
Did you do the sound?
We're live, yes.
Welcome back
Welcome back
to
to
the long
and short.
of it. I'm short.
And I'm long.
I'm Deanna.
And I am Tim.
Cool. Glad we got through
That
that
was
out of the way.
very succinct.
Yeah.
I like that one. That was good.
Me too. Felt good.
Felt right in my soul.
What
So
are-
good.
What are we talking about today, Tim?
I'm glad you asked, Deanna. The thing we're talking about today is relatable college stories.
Relatable.
Harsh term, relatable.
So, not architecture.
Not about architecture.
Architecture.
Architecture. We're not talking about that. We're talking about normal campus life, dorm life, dining hall life,
And by
random
that,
things that have occurred to us.
yeah, pretty much our weird stories, bad stories.
The good, the bad, the ugly.
Yeah.
But mainly the bad and the
Mainly
ugly.
the bad and the ugly because it's funnier.
Yeah. A lot of random people. Not us doing bad things. Bad things happening that we witness.
Oh, remind me about...
And funny things. Bad funny. Not bad bad.
Yeah.
Remind you about what?
No, I'll just talk about it.
Never mind.
I'll remember,
I'll
maybe.
save that one in my back pocket for later.
We'll see if I remember.
Okay.
But
Hopefully
first-
you do.
What
First
is-
hit me with that rather that I would.
Cool. Alright, so let's see. This is a tough one for me.
Okay.
Would you rather get one free round trip international plane ticket every year or be
Mhm.
able to fly domestic anytime for free?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Overwhelming you a little over there?
Yeah.
So for most people, I'm sure they would be like, automatically, you should definitely do the fly domestic for free.
It's more cost effective.
It is. But after, like, I love to travel, and a big thing for me right now is Europe. You know, haha, classic college.
Yeah.
Whatever. But we studied in Europe, so I'm pretty obsessed with it. So, and also just like flights internationally can be so expensive,
Mhm.
depending on where you're going. Especially since currently one of the places Tim wants to go to is Japan.
Nippon.
Okay, sorry.
Yep. Well, that's just how you say Japan.
I know. I was
yeah.
apologizing for
No,
my
it's
American.
fine. No, it's okay. You're American.
My
Americanness.
my Americanness, yeah. And that can get pretty costly. But
Yes, it can.
and also just like my desires for travel are definitely more international than I would say domestic.
Mm-hmm.
So
You want to go out, see new cultures,
yeah, so
new things.
it's a toughie. But at the same time,
A free trip to Cali.
free trip anywhere, anytime. You could see every friend you've ever had at any time.
Mm-hmm.
And it would be free. And then, see, like, so my answer is the domestic one. Even though
Ooh.
I have to, changing it up.
Oof.
Even though I constantly tell everyone I do not care about seeing the rest of the states. Like, yeah, like, I'll see it, but, and like, it'll be, like, I would definitely, like, I'm lying and I'm not lying at the same time. Like, if I had the choice between going to Europe or going, like, just, like, anywhere outside of the country, doesn't even have to be Europe.
Mm-hmm.
I would choose that over picking a domestic trip, like
Yeah.
hands down, just because more interesting.
exciting.
I'd rather experience a new culture. I know what America's like. I don't need more of it. So,
Yeah.
but the reason I would take the domestic one is because it's still travel. I could do these trips in shorter amounts of time,
Mm-hmm.
and like so I could do like weekend trips. So I'd get a taste of travel, and then this would satiate my desire for travel and help me save money for an international trip that I could do once a year, just like if I got the free international booked one.
Well, it's technically not saving you money. It's just redistributing the money
Well,
that you would
but I'm saying,
already
like-
spend.
Right, but I'm saying like the free
Yeah.
one, I'm only probably going to want to do that one trip,
Mm-hmm.
and
Right, and then if you have free range over any of the states, then you'll take that
and
opportunity.
it's round trip, so I could choose it for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Or a month. But, like, then I have to take off work and, you know,
Yeah, I
responsibilities,
was going to say
whatever.
the only problem with it is that you need to make time to really make use of that.
Right. So it's like, so if I just do the domestic one, do random stuff, and especially if I got, like, an architecture job or have my own firm one day, and I'm
Mhm.
traveling a lot, that would save me money.
Yeah,
So it's just like,
definitely would.
I feel like it'd be better, and then like,
Duh.
if in this Would You Rather, it doesn't have to be me. If I could buy the tickets for someone else, that'd be even nicer. Probably
Mhm.
just has to be me. But either way, still super nice. Very.
It would be super nice. I just wish this Would You Rather also would include hotel and food and stuff. Because if you really try to take advantage of seeing as many places domestically, then that's going to be a hefty... You would either have to stay with all the friends that you're visiting, granted you have friends everywhere that you want to go,
Right.
to house you for free.
But still, airfare with travel is the number one cost, normally. Especially in the United States.
If you're going to be in the hotel for 2 weeks, that also... Depending on what your hotel standards are.
But I'm just saying, like, if
also
you are
add up
already
to that
planning on
amount.
doing this trip and then you get airfare taken out, you're like, oh, this is way better.
Well, yeah, but I'm viewing the free domestic anytime as like a splurge thing as opposed to, oh, thank goodness, I was already planning to go to California once. I'm thinking of it as like the way I was receiving your communications about this was that now you're able to just go wherever you want to go.
Yeah.
Whenever, as opposed to doing like a planned trip, which is not that often.
Yeah.
So you would still be like in the mindset of like, oh, since this is free, I'm going to do this more.
Right, but then
you're
you'll...
going to be
Yeah,
spending
no,
a
I
lot
know.
in hotels.
But, like,
that's
whatever.
the only thing that I'm coming from is like a downside to free domestic violence. Domestic airfare.
Okay.
Freudian slip there. Shout
Uh,
out to my mom for
oh
working
my-
in domestic violence.
Oh, I was like, you're not funny.
No. No, that's why I thought of it, because my mom worked in domestic violence ever since since I can remember, honestly.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
I was going to say 8, and I was like, I'm pretty sure she still worked in places before then. Before I was 8. But, yeah, no.
She's a psychologist, therapist. Wait, what was it?
She studied psychology. She got her bachelor's.
Just to clarify, she's not just working in places that encourage domestic
No, she's obviously...
I
She's working in places to enforce domestic violence. No, I don't know, like her employer term changes because she's not a registered therapist because you would need your master's for that and a PhD and all that good stuff.
She's a good person.
She's a very good person. Shout outs to my mom.
Kathy.
Being awesome. And helping out a lot of people that need help. This is like totally off topic.
I was like,
of the
this
Would You
is not
Rather,
on topic.
But
Anyway.
to clarify the Freudian slip.
Yeah. So, no, yeah, it makes sense, but like, whatever. I was gonna, like, just be more experiential. I mean, like...
It would definitely incentivize me to actually, like, go...
to different places.
To somewhere, be more interested in visiting places within the United States. Because...
I mean, there are a bunch of cool places. It's just like...
I would go to Colorado again.
It's just expensive to travel here, and like, why would I pay the airfare? I paid round-trip airfare to Italy for cheaper than I know people have gone from across country.
Oh, yeah.
So
I was going to say,
no,
like,
thank you.
a Florida plane ticket, which is what I'm used to, because I would go down every couple of years with my family, was, like, 5 times more expensive than our similarly distance or time flying when we were abroad.
Yeah.
From going
well, even
from Italy
when I
to
just
Barcelona.
Even when I just went on spring break back to Italy,
Spring break.
my round trip airfare was definitely cheaper than some people paid for wherever they went.
Well, yeah.
After speaking with other people, so
I stayed at home.
really annoying.
Free.
Sorry,
Nah, it's fine.
I walked over 10 miles a day there. That's for another day.
Good exercise.
So what would you choose? Domestic or international trip once a year?
It's a tough one. Because I'd probably choose...
I still want to choose the international one so bad.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's fine. You already chose.
I don't know.
I would probably also choose domestic. Because I feel like if I hype myself up to go to Japan, go to Germany again, or go anywhere else that I would love to go to. Australia would also be really cool to go to.
Yeah. I would like
That's
that.
high up there on my list. It just wouldn't feel like I earned my keep on going to such like a grandiose trip somewhere if I didn't like work up the money to really pay for that plane ticket. Like,
that is the opposite for me.
If
I'm like, if I get to go for free, I am good.
Well, I'm also just thinking about my trip to Ireland, and like my plane ticket was paid for by my lovely aunt and uncle. Shoutouts to them for giving me and my cousins graduating gifts being plane tickets to Ireland for a week with them.
Yeah.
And like,
I would love that.
It was really cool, and I loved the experience. Super awesome to come back to Ireland. But it just felt weird, like, not paying for the trip. It just, like, in the beginning, to me, like, didn't really set in that we were really going on that trip, because I didn't have to go through the efforts that we had to, where we had to book it ourselves and make sure everything worked out well.
Yeah, within
and,
8 hours in one day, good times. We'll get to that.
God. But, like, with domestic flights, I wouldn't feel that bad. Because I'd be like, I'm still in America.
I mean, when I went for spring break,
Spring break?
Yeah. I pretty much did 90% of the... I did like 98% of the planning.
Which is stressful, but also kind of fun.
I mean...
This is my choice. I'm doing it.
Yeah. And I enjoyed... It did feel like... It felt like my trip because I paid for all of it.
See, there you go.
Yeah, it's good.
That's why I would choose it.
Well, I'm glad we're in agreement.
Oh.
Cool. So where do you want to start? Okay.
Oh, man.
Start at freshman year?
Yeah, we should start chronologically so we don't get stories really confused. Unless we go into tangents when we bring up a story that reminds us of a different story, which might inevitably happen. But freshman year... Oh, boy. We already touched on the beginnings going into freshman year of like the whole orientation ordeal of like meeting a few select friends that we retouched with, which is like the whole point of orientation, is that you're not so lonely getting into freshman year. But I also had, so like chronologically, this will be my first story, which is pretty quick.
Hence, oh God, I don't even know what you're gonna say.
You'll know once I start talking about it. But it's a really short. Yeah, see, it goes along with our name. So, during orientation, for my group, which was probably like 10 or so kids that were all in architecture or something, one of them was my future freshman roommate, one of two. It was Dan.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, okay,
but,
you look perplexed.
No,
like, who are you talking about?
I'm perplexed about what story this is.
Okay.
Why I'm confused.
So, and then I made friends with your freshman roommate, and no one really talked to each other in the beginning. I touched on this in the last one, where like we were at lunch and I just had to like break the ice, which you know is bad if I'm the one that starts a conversation, because I would never do that.
Tim's not that person.
Especially freshman year where I was way worse. And then even still, it was hard to like keep the conversation going, and then it would die out, and like only sometimes you could get like a small group of people to talk, and then they would warm up to their own niches, whatever.
Orientation sucked. So if you haven't gone to orientation yet, or if your orientation was bad, I hated it, and I still did very well in college making friends. So
yeah, it's really not making
really
friends.
Hated it. Really didn't want to be there.
You find your friends based off of the friends that you made at orientation. It's kind of derivative that way. You kind of like start general like, oh, we're all scared together. Let's be friends, because that's what we have in common right now. And then you get to know each other, and you're like, oh, I know your friends, and you know my friends, and then you like latch on to their friends a little bit more. You drift apart. It happens.
People I met at orientation, I think I talked to like 3 of them.
Yeah, you do. But anyways, so after orientation, we took that online personality type of like roommate matching quiz, and I got paired up with one of Dan. One of the people from orientation that I already mentioned, Dan.
Yeah.
Shoutouts to Dan.
Aww.
And I was in a forced triple, Dan and I, so we had our third roommate. And I remember so clearly Dan and coming up to me after like getting comfortable and being friends and stuff
after moving in.
Mm-hmm. Freshman year, and he was just kind of like, I just thought you were just like really emo.
Oh yeah. Oh,
like,
good times.
He was affronted, like he was hesitant to talk to me because of the way I like had my hair, which is still the same way I have my hair, which is on the fringe.
Everyone thought Tim did drugs. And
okay.
Everyone
now
thought,
we're skipping the connecting story.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Everyone thought Tim did drugs.
Not everyone. No.
Okay, not everyone.
No.
But like a lot of people just thought like he was.
I don't. By
he
the
was
way,
so
I do
quiet,
not do drugs.
so that he didn't like fit in with his suite because they were all more like
they were. A lot of them were partiers.
Yeah, they were more into
outgoing.
the party scene, and they were just more extroverted.
Yeah,
and initially that we didn't really like vibe with them in the beginning. They didn't really understand why Tim would hang out with me and my roommate, and he wouldn't hang out with them. So they kind of were just like very curious, but also just like a little
they
off-put.
took it to offense a little bit.
Yeah, they were kind of
like,
they were like down because they wanted to be close, and like he was the only one that really didn't want to be close.
But it's not like I didn't try. Like the first
like,
few days of freshman year, we would all hang out as a group, but then they would not talk to me. Yeah. And then like Dan and my other roommate would like be like, "Yeah, come on, we're going here," and I'm like, they don't really seem like they want to talk to me. And like I tried putting myself in conversations with them. They'd kind of laugh, but then keep the conversation directed towards like a few people. So it was like,
we used to see them around, and like they would just be like glaring so intently at us, and we'd be like, Tim, they're really looking at us.
Against me.
But it ended up that we loved a lot of the people in that suite in the end, and we became really good friends with most of them, including Dan. Yes. So, and we still talk to a lot of the suite. I'd say at least like 4 of them, I'd say.
Yeah.
So, out of like 8.
It was just weird to have Dan just kind of be like, Tim, I thought you were pretty fucking emo.
It was
just like
sketchy. So funny because I was standing there when he said that, and I died laughing.
Yeah.
People didn't know what to make of Tim. He was like an enigma because he was never in the suite.
I know. I didn't really fit into a clique either. I wasn't like a super tall, buff boy jock, so they weren't like, oh yeah, we could play sports with this kid.
Way to just stereotype Dan like that.
Oh, I'm not talking about Dan. I'm talking about like my whole suite was full of like guys my size or taller, but then they had like 3 times the muscle mass. Yeah. And I was like, I can't relate. I'm a little lanky boy. But Dan thought I was emo. A few of our friends thought that I was either like a raging alcoholic or was like a stoner to the nth degree, which are both horribly, horribly false.
It's so funny.
The exact opposite.
I love telling people.
I could see edgy emo. I could see that. But Dan swore that I wore like a black sweatshirt. And I was like, Dan, I don't have a black sweatshirt.
I do
and
remember that.
You definitely had one. And I'm like, you can go through my closet, Dan. There is nothing.
Remember when I lost my sweatshirt and ended up being in your closet at the end of the year?
Yeah, because they were very similar.
Same color.
Yeah, I think like mine was...
It was my blue one, right?
Yeah, but the way I realized it wasn't mine was because I think the one that I had was a Roger Williams sweatshirt. Yeah. That one was black, but that was after orientation that I got that one. I remember that vividly because I got that from a family member before I went to school.
Gotcha.
And that was the one I wore a lot freshman year. And then towards the end of the semester, or whenever, after like so many weeks of you being like, I still can't find it. They're just like going to my closet, and I was just like, this isn't my size.
Yeah. That happened to me. I don't know what it was about that building, but I lost that jacket somehow. I guess you just grabbed it off my chair.
I guess so.
If you hadn't gathered, Tim spent a lot of time in our room.
I was going to say, you definitely weren't in my room and just left it.
No, because we were pretty much never in his room because in a forced triple, a temporary triple, because they don't like to make it sound forced, but it was a forced triple.
Well, it's not forced. You could opt out.
Right.
But then you lose out on the $800.
It was a forced triple, meaning our school didn't have enough rooms for just doubles sometimes because of the amount of influx of students. So temporarily they would
would fill the doubles at the end of halls, which are slightly bigger.
So
and
they would
add
make it
bed.
another bed. Yeah, but it was like certain ones were big enough, but most of them were not. It was if it was a double, it was really glorified. But when it was a triple, it just was like slightly too tight. So there was like no breathing room, and also like when you got 3 big dudes like in a room,
big dudes,
like boys are smelly. Like you guys really need to like bathe more or something, or do laundry more often. I don't know, but every time we walked into that room, anytime I really walked in any guy's room, it either smelled like an influx of Axe or BO or food, and that's pretty much how their room smelled. And so I was like, I'm not going in there, and Tim also didn't want to go. There was no seating. Mm-hmm. Tim's bunk was on top, so we couldn't sit on his bed or anything.
Nope.
Like, so pretty much me and my roommate's room was so much better. So it was cooler. We didn't have an annoying, well, okay, your suite was annoying, but they were pretty loud.
Yeah.
And so we could just relax a little bit more. So, yeah.
Move that closer to you. You're far away from the mic.
Oh, I'm sorry. How's this?
It's better.
I had a story now, and I forgot what it was.
Was it about Dan?
No. I don't remember. I do remember our first experience with Dan was going to Target and being squashed on the bus together on the way back. Or no, we were in me, Emily, and him. Emily was my roommate from freshman year. I never mentioned her name yet. Mm-hmm. And me, Emily, and him were like squashed in like the van because the school didn't have enough like seats on the buses to take us back from Target. They did like a little
yeah, you guys actually went in a van.
Yeah, you had to go back on the bus. We were on the bus. Because we got separated. Because we were standing outside this Target for like, they rented out basically like the Target late at night for all the students to just like pick up stuff they needed after a week of being at school. And like, it was like an after hours kind of thing. Yeah, literally raided. And people were bringing back, like, huge, like, bookcases, like, crazy stuff. And it was taking up space on the bus. So they had to keep shuttling people back. And it like, from where this Target is in relation to campus, it's like 20 minutes away. So we had to wait 40 minutes each time for, well, there were 2 or 3 buses going. But it didn't matter. It was all of our freshman class pretty much went. I don't think anyone really opted not to go. So it was like, we waited, we were done shopping and the Target had closed. And I think we were waiting outside for like over an hour. So as soon as the like van came and they were like, oh, we'll take people in this too. Me, Emily, and Dan were like, peace, we're going.
Yeah, and left me in the dust.
I think I left you with Greg.
No, I was with my roommate, other roommate, and then our friend like started becoming friends with this other kid that would talk to us. No. Oh. I don't remember his name. Oh. I'm sorry.
That's so
We tried keeping in touch. Like, we gave each other our numbers and stuff, but then we just, like, stopped talking.
You don't remember his name? What did he look like? I'm so curious. I'm sorry. I hate when we don't remember people.
It's okay.
I remember everyone.
I just remember
that's a Mike thing to do. Sorry. Continue.
Jeez. Sorry about all the coughing. I'm still recovering from a sickness. That's why all these episodes have had me coughing in the background.
He's actually just a heavy smoker.
I'm actually, see, they got me wrong.
Yeah.
I just chain smoke cigarettes. The thing that I didn't like about the Target trip was that they prioritized all the people that brought all the heavy, big stuff. So then people like me that bought like 3 things, and I was like, ooh, Pokemon cards. I didn't actually get Pokemon cards, but stuff that size. They kept us waiting because our human bodies were taking up too much space for the people that bought a goddamn fridge.
Yeah, I was pissed. I think we bought food, honestly.
I definitely bought food.
That's so us.
I bought some Doritos, I imagine.
Because we were, like, prepared good people, and, you know, our parents took us out ahead of time to buy stuff.
Yeah.
Or would mail it to us instead of, you know... Like, it was supposed to be a fun little trip to get, like, cutesy things, like...
Yeah, not...
Little like, not pillows or... Yeah. People were getting lamps and stuff. I'm like, where's that going in the seat? Like, it would take up a full 3-seater on the bus, and these buses were made for, like, toddlers.
Yeah, it was just...
It couldn't even fit 3 of us. Literally, I'm pretty sure... Yeah, on the way there, me, Tim, and Emily Tim's, did you lay across us? Or was that on... No, Emily did. Emily laid across, and we were like, this is much better than if you had sat on the side.
Yeah. It was a long night.
Yeah.
I was tired. I didn't want to go home. I just should have just eaten the food that I bought.
Yeah. We had a lot of good times in our freshman dorm. Only because it was just like, everyone had to be there. No one was allowed to have cars, so more people were in the dorms more often than, like, you could take the bus that goes through our, like, right off of our campus. There's a stop.
Yeah, we mentioned it before.
Yeah,
they don't take it anymore.
I hate it, but
and freshman year, you get your pass. Do it for free.
You get paid for, but it's included in your tuition, and so we got like 20 swipes or something on the bus. Yeah, you don't need money on you. Yeah,
like $2. But nice.
So like it pretty much keeps all of us like in there together, and technically our building was considered an LLC, a living learning community, meaning we were all grouped together based on the type of major. So our entire floor was just architects and engineers. Yeah. And I think even the third floor was also kind of like that, or even the building, honestly, if I had to say.
I thought the building.
I feel like our building,
depending on the floor, was matched with like similar majors.
Right. But so I don't know why I just thought of this, but like there were a lot of times, that was actually a time when we used our suite areas and like the common area. We'd actually go out there and use the TV and watch movies with like people on the floor. And
back when everyone liked each other.
Back when everyone cared to interact and didn't want to ignore everyone. Because once you're dorm living for 4 years, you're like, I don't want to see more than 3 people in one space at a time.
In a living space. People felt that way after the second year.
That's true.
Because people were like, screw this, going off campus.
Or, I didn't mind this. I didn't mind it.
No, not us, but a bunch of our architecture major friends. They were like, I'm going to live off campus, or I'm going to live in Bayside,
totally understand,
which is all apartment based.
I just was more convenient to live on campus. But so freshman year, like since it was like all closer, we had way more encounters with people that were weird. Mm-hmm. I specifically will never forget the time that one of our good friends, Liam,
Liam,
dressed up in a green bodysuit. Was that what it was? Fully green?
Yeah, the whole
and was running around the building, scaring the shit out of everyone. I don't remember why, but I remember he would run up the stairs to the one girl suite and freak them the hell out. Like, we all heard their screaming and we didn't know what was happening, and then like we just saw his head appear in the doorway.
Oh yeah.
And we like all jumped out of our. I think Emily like died. Like she almost
had a heart attack.
No. She was the only. She didn't. I jumped, and she was like, I'm surprised I wasn't like scared. We're scared by that, but like so there would be things like that. The infamous wrestlers on our campus though were what made everything better about the building.
We're jumping to this story now. All right.
Well, I was just thinking about on the flip side. So Liam was a good story, but I would say
we're transitioning years now.
This was also freshman year. They lived above me, remember?
Well, okay. I thought you were talking about the wrestler story.
Oh, no. Sorry, that's too far ahead. We got multiple wrestler stories. Well,
Still freshman year then. They lived on the 3rd floor. We lived on the 2nd floor.
Yeah, and I lived specifically
the suite underneath them.
Yeah, we lived right below them, and
just like I said, right underneath them.
Well, I mean, like, they were in the same room as me right above, because my one friend, Skylar, he lived diagonally across from, like, he was in my suite, but he was the room across from me up, and, like, they were the only 2 wrestlers in their suite. We were friends with everyone else in their suite, actually.
Yep.
It was Brendan, Joe, Skylar, Taylor,
Man,
Neon.
Neon
also.
I know, yeah.
Well, sorry, I'm just trying to remember. No one cares. No one cares about these names except for the people who they are.
Except all of our friends.
Yeah, all of our friends care. But no one else cares. But it's fine.
They're like, wow, Deanna name dropped me and then immediately said, no one cares about these guys.
Nah, that's not what
Joe,
I meant.
Brendan, Skylar, Taylor, Neon, people care about you. Including me.
I care. I'm saying no one's
Other people do too.
People that don't know them won't remember their names. I am sorry.
Yeah.
But
We've already
anyway,
listed a lot of
so
names.
we had a lot of friends spread out across the floors, and they specifically were all condensed in that one area, except the two wrestlers that lived above me, who we routinely had to hear them have bad sex.
Oh.
So that was lit.
That was a bad time.
And then, like, whatever. And then they were also...
What?
There's something wrong with the wrestlers at our school. I don't know if this is all wrestlers.
I'm pretty sure they're
Like-
given Kool-Aid freshman year, and
Like-
they just never go back.
Let me know, man, if this is how all wrestlers in America are like. But just, like, they were, like, cult-like almost in the way that they all had to act the same, and they would all shave their entire bodies together as if it was some sort
To
of
each other.
bonding experience.
Yeah,
And
like, I'll shave your head if you shave mine.
Yeah, and it was totally, like, their pubes, too, right? Like, it's gotta be. I'm just
I
saying.
was gonna say butts.
It's probably that, too.
It is.
And
we
we
didn't
would-
have to go that far.
We would routinely hear about, like, the horror stories from our friends about how they would walk into the suite bathroom and how the sinks would be covered in hair.
Yeah.
And my roommate's boyfriend at the time, one time sat in
The chair.
it sat in one of the chairs and
The
complained the next day about being itchy all night when he had stayed over. And we found out later, we realized, is because he sat in the hair chair, meaning the chair they would shave people's heads on,
Yep.
and they wouldn't clean it.
Yep.
So everything that made him itchy
Was their hair.
was their
Or they had
hair.
hair.
Their hair was stuck into his shirt when he sat in it. And
Like
I
a
believe she
porcupine.
did not have the heart to tell him.
No, because we knew about that chair.
It
and
was...
We were playing dumb.
Well, we didn't know until, like, I didn't know until he complained about being itchy that I was like, ooh, because, like, whatever. But, yeah, that was pretty unfortunate. But they were always loud. We would routinely ask them to quiet down. We tried to be nice the first few times. And the one kid was like, oh, we're, like, so sorry, blah, blah, blah. Didn't matter. It was always, and, like, our one friend talked about how he came out of the door one morning to go to class, and the guy was just butt naked with the door open, standing at his closet.
Free balling.
Yeah. It's just like, where do you get off, buddy? And
At butt stop.
we could not, oh my God, we just hated them because they all just cause like the most issues ever.
Yeah, they were never accommodating. They never felt like remorse for anything.
They used to play
did.
golf in the halls. And,
That was my sweet senior year, except it was baseball.
and lacrosse.
Yeah. Well, they played baseball with lacrosse
Oh,
sticks.
sorry. But yeah, so they would always cause all the problems in the building, which is a story of sophomore year. But
Yes.
I'll stick to freshman year. They would always sound like they were bouncing balls and stuff like that. I don't even know. I didn't
Mhm.
understand them, but I'm trying to think of like a good story that we have besides like.
Well, we preface saying that they were all going to be interestingly bad rooted.
Yeah.
Or not bad, but just like misfortune.
I was gonna say the one story that I could think of that is. Oh, I should tell the bus story, but. I was
bus
thinking
story.
about. I don't remember. I don't think it was Halloween, but it was a weekend that we were playing frisbee outside and in the dark with our light up frisbee because we were cool cats. And
so edgy.
I just remember when one of us like swung on the light post by our dorm,
We won't name names.
and I don't remember who
I
was
don't know
on it.
who it was.
Was it?
No, don't say no name.
I think I know who it was. Now that you made that face, but
Yeah, it's not me.
yeah. But I just remember one of us swung on the light post, and it immediately started collapsing. We do not know why.
It was like it wasn't even bolted into the ground. It was just like
No,
balancing.
it
and
felt.
then it was just oops.
It was like the equivalent of like a regular lamp, and you just pushing it over with minute amount of force.
Yeah.
And it's like a massive orb thing. So as soon as it started to tilt, there was like 10 of us there. As soon as it started to tilt, we were like, "Oh my God, catch it!" And like
I mean,
all
it
of
was
us,
really light, so we were okay.
Yeah,
It
but
didn't break.
But all of us like went to it, and then we all like gently laid it down, and we're like,
And then we buried it.
no, and put it to rest. No, we all started sprinting for our dorm. We were literally like 100 feet from it, but we sprinted into our dorm up the stairs.
Well, we just all witnessed and committed a felony.
It was literally like we just felt, we felt like we committed a crime for some reason.
We did.
The lamp was already like crooked. It was already on its way down.
But we sealed its fate.
Our little freshman minds were like, ha 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 ha, we did something bad, even though we didn't do anything. And
not the first time public property has fallen.
Yeah, but like we were just like, well, I hope that does.
Hope the cameras didn't catch us. Right? We're fugitives.
The next day we saw it taken down and moved off to
it was already taken down.
Like,
I
meant detached. Like they moved it to behind a bush, and it sat there for quite a long time before they like moved it and then got the new one. But
yeah,
that's our thrilling lives of breaking campus property.
We're such rebels.
Yeah.
Next thing we'll do is climb the water tower.
No. We're not. I remember when we heard that people climbed the roof of the architecture building?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, how?
One of our friends was explaining to us that on some, like, back end of the corner, apparently you could, prop yourself up.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
People did way wilder stuff than us. We're pretty mellow as the two of us.
Well, yeah, I'm not a raging alcoholic or a stoner.
Yeah, so we don't.
So that says a lot.
Our dumb decisions are all sober, baby.
Frisbeeing at night.
Yeah. Cool. Not getting a Frisbee on time because the mail center lost it. If there's anything I hate more about our campus, I'm sorry, but if there's just anything I hate more about our campus, it is the mail center and everyone who runs it. Shout out to being terrible. Thank you. Oh my God. Can't wait for you guys to get better. Don't lose my passport ever again. Brought that up before too.
Yep.
But
I mean, rightly so with the passport.
Yeah.
That was kind of uncool. It's not like people don't do that for study abroad.
I know. But what else happened fresh? Oh, we had the bus story. It was a classic.
Classic.
Dam's a part of that story. We all, as architecture students, have to take we have to go to a store called Blick. It's an art supplies store that we would have to routinely go to. And by bus, it's about half hour away.
Yeah.
But, you gotta do what you gotta do. It's a Friday night because, that's what we do on Friday nights as architecture students.
I'm not drinking it up.
Well, not even. It was just like we had a deadline, and Fridays and weekends are not for fun for us. And it was early enough in the night. Nothing had really started anyway by that point. We went at like 7. And so we get our stuff. 3 of us get like boards and cardboard and stuff like that, while the rest just got like simple bags with glue and little minor materials, whatever. Mm-hmm. And our one friend is like, there's a bus stop right over here. It's only a 2-minute walk. And I'm like, I don't know. I feel like we should go to the main drop-off and pickup point in the city because we'll guarantee we'll get on the bus. It's the first stop of our route. So we should go.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a 20-minute walk from where we are. It's about a quarter of a mile, half a mile?
I don't know.
And it's like later. So our friend's like, no, come on. Like I've taken this stop before. It's right here. And like, does anyone really want to walk with all this stuff? Like, blah, blah, blah. And of course, the like 6 of us are like, no, we really don't want to. But
okay.
Okay. If there's anyone knows me at all, or if you're gonna learn to know me,
you're gonna learn today.
I'm a very paranoid. I'm not
cautious.
Yes, I'm a very cautious person, and I like to take a lot of precautions with everything. So I was just like, I don't know. Like, I feel like I know there are certain stops that they don't always go by. And they were like, no, I've never had a problem with this. It's fine. I'm like, okay.
You're foreshadowing the problem real hard.
Yeah. You think? I mean, this can only go one way. So
we got on the bus safe and sound.
Yeah, perfect. We actually flew home. So we go to wait at this stop. It's been
2 weeks since you looked at me.
No. It's been like, 30 minutes? And we're all starting to get a little, like, antsy, because we thought the bus probably would have came by that point.
And also waiting that long, we're like, we could have walked.
Yeah. Oh, we said that a million times.
Yeah.
We were like, should we just go and leave? And then we're like, no, if we do that, it's going to be one of those cases of rock bottom in SpongeBob where you start walking away and the bus arrives and then you miss it because you didn't wait.
Yep.
So we waited. And I think we ended up waiting over an hour. It was like an hour and 15. Yeah?
I don't know.
Something like that.
Time. That's all I remember.
I know.
I was uncomfortable. It was an uncomfortable amount of time.
It was at least an hour. And by this point, the friend that had recommended it was like apologizing, but
I said was mainly silent.
Yeah.
And then was like, I thought I would show up.
Yeah, because, wasn't also too happy about it being kind of late. Because by this point, I mean, we didn't get to Blick probably until 8 or so, and then we were in there for like a half hour, and then so it was probably like around 9:30 at this point. Friday night in the city. And we're like...
Providence.
Yeah. So we're unsettled. The bus...
Also, this bus stop is like in a not so well lit area, too.
Yeah, so it's kind of shady.
Like off the city a bit, so it's kind of sketchy.
Yeah, it's right off of the highway, so as you can imagine, like under underpasses and stuff like that. So it's near that and like by like a... It's actually where our old office used to be.
All right, then.
Yeah, did you know?
I did not know.
Oh, yeah, you didn't go to the... Sorry. Anyway, it's off of where our old office was. But, so, finally the bus comes. And we're like, thank God. This bus rolls up, packed like sardines. Literally, there looks like there's no space. And the guy opens the doors, and Tim and our 3 other friends. There was actually 7 of us. It was my roommate, Tim, Skylar, and our other friend. And then we had Dan, me, and our one other friend.
Other friends?
At this point, yeah, we're just listing random people.
We had friends.
3 of us were standing on the sidewalk still while 4 people got on. And I'm about to step in, and the bus driver puts his hand out at me to stop me. Not a good look. Don't do that to me. And...
I mean, he's just doing his job.
I don't care. He was rude. And... So he puts his hand at me and then looks at me and my 2 other friends and goes, "You people with the boards, wait." And then I'm like, "What?" And then he looks back, sees everyone, and then goes, "Yeah, there's not enough space. Catch the next one." And we're like, wait. He closes the doors on us and leaves. So Tim and our 3 other friends are on the bus, including the friend who recommended waiting at this stop. And then sitting on the street at night is... me and my 2 other friends, and then
Dan.
one of them, it was Dan. It was me, Dan, and Tori. And me and Tori are like 5'3" short girls, and then Dan's a super buff 6'3" dude.
Yeah, thank God you had Dan.
Thank God we had Dan, because I had a very stormy, pissy walk back. Because guess what? I did exactly what I had suggested to do in the beginning, was walking all the way back to the main plaza for the buses. Yep. But it was a nice 20-minute walk there after waiting an hour. And so it was a little bit shady. I mean, Providence as a city as a whole, like, there are not some great areas, but it's not
getting better.
Yeah.
It's on the up and
It's
up.
not like it's a shady part of like New York City or Philadelphia. So it's still not... I didn't feel unsafe, let's put it that way. In places I've been to that are unsafe, this is not so bad. But still, there's always some weird characters out in the street in any city. So we're like walking, and there were like times when like Dan was like walking closer to us, and I was like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "Nothing. There's just like kind of some creepy people around, so I was just walking closer to you guys." Yeah. And I was like, "Oh, I am not even looking. I've got tunnel vision on this. Like, I am just waiting to get to this bus stop." And then we get to the bus stop, and it's even worse, the amount of weird people. It's either weirdos or drunk people, and that was it. Mm-hmm. And we're the only ones there carrying boards. We look like such nerds. And
it's because we are.
We sat on the bus, and actually Tori, I think, like this guy started talking to Tori about some like funny. He was like super nice and was talking to her. But we finally got back, and our friend had this sheepish look on his face and was like, "I'm so sorry." Like, "Oh my God, blah, blah." And I was like, "It's fine. I'm over it.
I am home now."
But also, it just felt good knowing I was right. And
it would have felt better knowing you were right if you were on the bus instead of him.
oh, that would have been good.
Yeah. Because then you wouldn't have had to pay the price for being right all along. And they would have gotten their just desserts for the repercussions of follow my advice and then it not working out for him.
But, I don't know. He's also a person to take things guiltily.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
He's totally listening to this right now.
He's still a good friend of ours.
Sorry, Joe. I'm going to name drop you now. Still, I will always remember that because I was just like, this is one of the worst RIPTA experiences I'll have. Because then the ride back also was just like, it was also tight. Like, I don't know what, I guess just Fridays are like everyone's getting out and
everyone's moving.
So it was pretty bad. And I mean, like, whatever. It was fine at the end. And I was, like, laughing. It was one of those things where everything went wrong to a degree where you were like, whatever, I can't believe this is happening.
Yeah.
But it was just super inconvenient. And I had to carry all my stuff back to the dorm and stuff like that. But
well, you also just have that luck that, like, anything that can go wrong will go wrong
I know.
to the nth degree. And it's just like, man, this would be a classic TV movie trope if this happened, but you don't really think that or say that, but it's subconsciously in the back of your head, and then it happens, and you're kind of like, you know, I kind of expected this.
Yeah.
Now at this
and
point.
Like you guys all got on the bus, and I just remember getting back, and they were all like, "Oh my god! Like we tried to get off to be with you guys." Blah blah blah.
Yeah, no, we got to the back, and then I realized that he stopped you guys, and I turned around, and I was like, "We should wait with them." And then he closed the door and went off, and I was like,
All four of you, like I knew, like all four of you wanted to get off. I saw both like you and Skylar trying to make your ways to the door, and he was like, "Nope, bye." And I mean, I also know it was the case that everyone knew I was gonna be pissed. Yes. And guess what? I was.
To take things lightly.
Yeah, but I had a nice 20-minute walk back, and then another 20 minutes of waiting for the bus to come back, another bus, and then another half-hour bus ride. So I had a nice additional hour of waiting. Mm-hmm. Well, actually, it was more like, about a little over an hour. So, to cool off. So, it was over it. And, you know.
No grudge or anything, but if we're going to be specific, it was an hour and 6 minutes and 32 seconds.
If we're going to be specific, I'm going to tell this story 5 years later on a podcast.
Yeah.
But, yeah. We always had, like, little mishaps like that. Nothing ever too big. I mean, there are people that have stories that are like, I got dropped off in the middle of nowhere and I had to hike back and squander for my own food.
I mean, the first time we got dropped off in Providence, we didn't really know what we were doing. And we were
that
nervous.
Was kind of a whew. That was a doozy.
Not
we
a
walked
lot
around.
Came out of it. We just were exploring Providence for the first time, and then we were just kind of like, now what? And we're like, did anyone check the time?
We also didn't really know how to read the bus schedule that well. There were a few times we had to sprint for the bus. Those are never fun. Mm-hmm. There were times when people were drinking on the bus. That's typical bus etiquette. But
it was definitely me.
Yeah. Pretty much the bus was also me being paranoid that we would miss our stop. But
yeah.
Whatever. So that was most of like freshman year, I'd say. It was bus adventures, our drunk friends coming to visit us constantly, like, and then like trekking through the snow. I can't even think of any like, freshman year I had a racist gen ed teacher. That was a good time. My history professor.
Classic.
My history professor who didn't believe in evolution and would call people by like racist terms from his other schools. He would reference them and talked about how he would divorce his wife if she had to get another knee surgery because he couldn't take her bitching. And he was just all around not a good person. And he like would talk about, he like mentioned at one, he was a pretty good teacher though, which is kind of disappointing. But his class was easy.
Still given the job.
Yeah, his class was an easy A. Oh, he couldn't have gotten good reviews after our class. I haven't seen him since, so I wonder if he either quit, retired, or got fired. But probably not fired because, you know, people don't fire anyone at schools.
No.
And I just remember this one girl was like, he mentioned something about how evolution had not been proven. And she was like because she was in some type of science degree, maybe bio. I can't remember though specifically. And she was so angry. She sat behind me and she was just like, what do you mean? What proof? Like, there's plenty of proof, blah, blah. And he was like, nope, all speculation, blah, blah, blah. And she was just like, I will bring you in factual articles to, like, next class. And he was like, do it. I dare you. I bet you it's not factual or whatever. And she was like, I'll do it. And she did the next class. And we didn't talk about him right then. I think either he took him or she talked to him after class or something like that. But, like, it was bad.
Those teachers that are stuck in their ways, man.
Hey, we had that great writing professor.
Hey, I know.
Sophomore year. She,
It's a good transition. She was nuts. To sum it up, she was nuts.
Yeah.
She was
I
neurotic.
honestly have blocked it out so much I can't even think of, like, what happened in that class at all, other than the play that we had to write.
Yeah.
And that really good book she did make us read at the end that I loved. The Crazy Carnival one. I loved that book. I thought it was good. Not Carnival, the Freak Show one.
Because I'm biased, because I don't like reading.
Yeah.
And also,
I read it out loud to you, didn't I?
Yeah. Well, we just had, like, reading sessions, and we were just like, well, just
because we take notes and stuff.
Yeah.
It was a good book. Honestly, clearly not good enough that I remember.
It was so good, I forgot it.
Yeah, right?
Because it's part of the memories that you block out.
Yeah, I did. Literally, these are repressed memories. I forget that, like, me and my one friend tried to report her. Yep. Fun fact, reporting teachers at a college does not work unless it's like sexual harassment.
Not on tenure.
Yeah, well, even then, like, I don't think she had tenure. She was just an adjunct.
She did have tenure.
Oh, she did?
Yeah.
Oh.
You told me that.
Oh, I see. Repressed. We took it up with heads of the English department, and they were just like...
Funny enough, they spoke Hungarian.
They were just like, have you tried taking it up with her first? And we were like, she's not the type of professor that would, like, listen to us. She would call us out for, like, targeting her. She would play victim kind of thing. And they were just like, you really need to discuss it with her first, and then we'll get involved. And I'm like, both of these options are terrible. I'm not going to talk to her. And if you try and talk to her, she's going to treat us terribly in class.
Yeah.
And, like...
And one of the two representatives that you talked to was my Lit Phil teacher.
Oh. Yeah, well, we wanted them to intervene, but, like, in a way that was, like, more private. But they wanted it to be public. They were like, we'll come sit in on your class.
Yeah.
To, like, see how it's going. And then, like...
Craziness.
And then, like... initiate discussion between you guys. And we were like, no. We are halfway through the semester. I need an A in this stupid class. Yeah, no. So we were just like, we'll just tough it out. But she's one of those professors that has the worst reviews on Rate My Professor. And, like, she is like a legend. Everyone that had her is traumatized by her. And we're not really describing it at all. But it was just basically like the curriculum made no sense. We were doing wild things. We had to write a play about a monster.
That we painted.
It was like we were 10 in like we were 10.
Like we were in 10.
I was going to say in 10th grade, and I was like, what? No, we were 10.
It was one of
not
those,
even, like 5.
After school. Just pick an age,
I'm sorry, I can't.
It was essentially an after-school art program where, like, there's no curriculum, and they're just like, do whatever you feel is natural. And then you're going to write a script about it. And we're going to judge your performance. And
it had to have a moral.
Yeah.
And it was so juvenile. I've written better...
and then we just started talking about a book. And then we had to do a final presentation paper on, like,
partner
a
paper
topic. Yeah.
And that sounds like... This all sounds normal, but, like, she never really taught us anything. She got
mad at us when we didn't know what to do.
Yeah. And she would get mad at us, like...
and then she got mad at us.
When she wouldn't specify what we had to do for the upcoming class.
Yes.
And then, like, she also was just like, ooh, stomach rumbling. But she also was like, would always come in and be pissed off that the computer wouldn't work for her every day. And she couldn't find the volume button the one day, and we were, like, gonna die. That was how we met Diana.
I was gonna wait for you to finish, and I was gonna be like, yeah, and then we were at one of our friends' like little low-key parties in their dorm, and that's how we became really good friends with our friend Diana.
Because we bonded over the fact that we hated her class.
We were in class together, and
She
we're
sat
like,
across from
we're
us.
not crazy, right? Because our class was also really quiet, and we didn't really could converse with one another. It was pretty grouped.
I think everyone was just too horrified. Was it an 8 a.m. or a 9 a.m.?
It was an early a.m.
It was either an 8 or 9, so it sucked. And
it was across campus for us.
Oh, yeah.
Which still isn't bad because our campus is small, but
yeah,
it was the longest distance possible from campus.
Yeah.
So it was extra hard to wake up for that.
Yeah, especially
just to get yelled at.
Right, and you just didn't want to talk to her, and she's like, oh. And I just remember Diana the one time, like, snapped at her, was like,
yeah,
about, like, something on the computer, because we would waste so much time in the beginning, and then she would try to hold us after class.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like,
so
I told her a million times, I'm like, I have a class directly after this, and
also on the other side of campus.
Yeah, it's literally like a building back from my dorm where I started in the day, so it's like,
and you get 10 minutes.
Yeah, and I was like, I need to leave. But thank God my professor that I had after that was the chillest lady I've ever had, and I love her to death. But and I told her ahead of time, I was like, I have a class before this, like, at the building across campus. Like, I'm just letting you know if I ever walk in late, that's the reason. She was always like, that's fine. Like, didn't care.
That's fine.
I made her sound way southern or something.
That's fine.
She was not southern at all.
Yeah.
But, thank God I had that class next because it was relaxing, and we talked about spirit guides. But it was just, like, insane. But I guess we should move on to, like, sophomore year.
Well, wasn't that sophomore year?
Oh, that was sophomore year. Yeah. Well, we got to tell the story about the wrestlers. Do you want to tell it? Yeah.
I think that's a good, like, high point story to end on.
Yeah.
Because, like, how long is this? We're almost at an hour now.
Yeah.
We could split it. We could split it up. We can talk about junior year and senior year stories because got some tasty ones on those.
Yeah, we can talk about Italy.
Well, Italy will be its own.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to talk about second semester of junior year and then senior year.
Yeah, that sounds good.
That'll be a good way to separate it. Sophomore year.
But I didn't even bring up the text of your room. We didn't even talk about your roommate from freshman year.
Yeah.
So we had some.
He was weird.
We had some issues with him, just in terms of like interacting.
Nothing bad against this gentleman.
No.
Very kind-hearted person. Always meant well.
Nicest guy. Just didn't take certain social cues, and.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Didn't like do the best in like awkward situations and didn't know really how to hold himself and like how to live with two other people in the same crowded space. There'd be a lot of times where like I brought my GameCube and Dan brought, I think he brought Mario Kart, and I brought some of my GameCube games, and there would just be times where I would just like, it was like communal, but it also like was never explicitly said to like just play someone else's GameCube in games without asking. And I would just like come back from class and like Jacob would just be like playing Ocarina of Time, and I'm like, whatever. And like I'd be like, okay, I mean, you do you. I know you really like the game, but would have been nice to ask, man. And he's like, oh yeah, sorry.
You ate a lot of your food.
Well, like, yeah, he would ask a lot about food.
But it's like you don't really want to share your food. Like,
can I have some of that? And
he was eating popcorn one day and asked for my popcorn because he thought Tim made popcorn better.
Yeah.
We were like, what does that mean? Like.
And then was salivating at the sight of, was it M&M's or Reese's?
I think it was my Reese's Pieces.
Yeah.
Which,
that's what it was. He was like,
don't make fun of me for the way I say Reese's Pieces.
I say it too. I say it that way.
I
know it's wrong.
But I don't care if it's wrong.
But
it's the way it's
right
said.
To me.
It's the way it's said. So
it's right in my heart.
Yeah. But so there were like times when Tim just needed a break.
He was sick for a week.
He was sick for a week. At
one point, I had to sleep on Deanna's floor for that week. Because everything was infected.
Yeah, he was... Because also their room was really tiny, so it was just like really condensed.
And I was the bunk above him. Oh my god. So... Tim, don't forget to edit out his name. I'll just bleep out his name.
I was going to say, I was like, just take out the name.
I'm just, yeah.
We're trying to keep it nicer.
Whatever. Mr. Ferdinand, I'll call him.
Oh.
It's just random.
I'm liking Ferd.
Ferd. Phineas and Ferdinand.
Ferdinand.
Anyway. He had an alarm clock for a little while. Never woke up to it. Upgraded to a deaf person's alarm clock, which if you don't know what that is, it's just like a big rumble pad that you put under your mattress. And I don't know if you know the forces of vibrations, but they don't just travel to one portion of a joint object like a bunk bed. It'll travel the heck up that bunk bed like it's a goddamn lightning rod. And he would always set it for like 6 a.m. and not wake up. And then when he did, it would be in like a fit of panic. And at one point, he woke up so fast to try to shut it off, he smacked it, the actual alarm clock, off the desk, across our room, and it just made it 10 times worse. And like, oh my god.
Yeah, and Tim slept above him, so it was like...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like I was on the top bunk, he was on the bottom, and like we had 8 a.m. classes, so I don't know why he woke up at 6 a.m.
Especially as someone who couldn't wake up on time anyway.
Yeah, so it was just a big time waster, and I would just be like, cool, can't wait to sleep for not 2 more hours, an hour and a half more, so I would wait it out.
There were many a gripe from Tim throughout the day, especially if he started off badly with that. Man. They would do, and like the guys in the suite would like put bananas beneath his pillow.
Oh yeah.
To like...
Once everybody got comfortable with each other, it was definitely like prank wars going on.
Yeah. They would try to do things to get him to notice because he also didn't really clean up after himself a lot. His family would come to visit and his mom would do the cleaning of the room. Like, so it's just like that kind of thing. And like that was the thing why I never wanted to go into their room was because it always smelled like dirty laundry and old food and stuff like
sadness.
That. And like, yeah. And Tim, I guess, was just nose blind, but I just was like, I want to.
It's like just one of those things you get used to it.
Literally, it was like the episode of SpongeBob where he's got bad breath and
it's
the guy
ugly.
Yeah, and the guy next to him is like, "Not at all, boy," and he smells him, and then he's like, "It's literally that was the reaction like I had one time, and I was like, I am not going in there. You were coming back to our room." So there was one night that Tim was in our room, and there was that week that you slept on our floor. Yeah. Tim slept on our floor for like a night or two, and Dan found out because he was like, where the heck is Tim? And Dan texted us and was like, can I also stay on your floor? So we had Dan and Tim for like 3 nights because they were like, he was just like kind of infecting the whole room. Like, because he
doesn't take care of himself like super well when he's sick. Just leaves tissues everywhere and coughs.
And he wasn't, obviously, he's not cleaning anything.
Obviously. None of us did.
But, so that was an interesting week. But then there was a different, I don't know when this was, but it was like, Tim had left our room and then like, he had texted me something like, forgot to tell me something, and said like, good night. And it's 12:30 in the morning. And I get this text. And it's like 15 minutes after he had said good night, and I'm like laying in bed. This is the text I get. And I'll use the name Mr. Ferdinand.
Mr. Ferdinand.
All lowercase, one sentence, no punctuation. Mr. Ferdinand is fucking slurping his tea. Oh, I'm sorry. There was one punctuation. But
okay.
Mr. Ferdinand is fucking slurping his tea like a water-deprived fat walrus that just gave birth, and it's pissing me the fuck off. 12:30 a.m.
You can tell from my voice and my personality that I'm not one to explode. But when it comes to my lack of sleep, that's where I break.
This is a screenshot I have saved from 5 years ago. And
look,
or
it's
4 years ago.
Perfectly in handy when we had to recall this specific time.
I recalled it about an hour ago, and I was like, yes.
I don't know why I had to bring in the fat part. Yeah, I guess because it was a really hearty slurp.
Yeah, well, I guess it was just water-deprived fat walrus, meaning like they really needed an intake.
Yeah, they needed that water
slurping his
percentage.
Tea. Oh my god, I just remember
Well,
dying.
it isn't Mr. Slurps a lot.
Like, this screenshot's so old that it was when I still had the 4S iPhone, to clarify.
Throwback.
Yeah, because it's like that screen size.
Yeah.
That's not even close to my 6 now, which is also behind. Yeah, I know. Relax, everyone.
Boom.
But
You don't have the
so
iPhone X.
those were my classic given texts from
Yes.
Tim. So we had a nice, and Tim and I are definitely the people that would like, I say definitely because we did this, where we would like have annoying people with us at dinner or something like that. We would text each other across the table. And
The extra petty.
yeah, petty's our brand. And things like that. I think I across campus in the morning started meowing at me, and I didn't realize it was him.
Yeah, it really took you a while.
It was like he was on top of me, and I was trying to...
Meow.
It was pretty much like I heard it from a distance.
Meow.
I mean, I didn't hear it from a distance. Then, like, okay, it was not like that. It was more like high-pitched. Yeah, that. And, like, halfway through, I did hear it, and I was like, I don't know who the hell that is, but, like, what?
It must be one of them
Like,
furries.
I hope they stay away from me. No, it was just my friend coming up into my ear. Tim. Good old Tim. And I was like,
You gotta
okay.
keep it interesting. You can't just go up to someone and be like, hey!
Oh, well, then it just turned into a war of, like, anytime we saw each other across campus, we'd immediately text each other, hey, I see you. I did that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's bad.
Yeah.
What did I say? I don't even remember what I said.
You said, hey, bitch.
Oh,
then-
was that it? Yeah, I
yeah.
did. Oh, God.
And we were walking...
That was so bad. This was recently. This was
senior
year?
was a recent story.
Or
yeah.
something like that. Yeah,
It was last semester.
I was walking out of the architecture building, and we were trying to...
And I was leaving Commons, going towards the architecture building.
No, you were
It was
meeting us for
different.
dinner. You were coming from CAS from, like, music or something. Because it was, like, me,
Could've
Skylar,
sworn
and
I
Maya.
was walking the other direction.
No, you were walking towards the building, because then we met up with you, and I was like, you will not believe what just happened.
No, because I waited for you. Because you guys were coming out. Because I remembered that I was literally like 5 steps out. Because I was closer, but then I had to turn right. I distinctly remember turning right, and then I was like, what's so important that you had to say, hey, bitch? So I waited for you to walk back.
Oh, I don't remember.
Yeah.
Well, whatever. Either way, I said, hey, bitch, quite loudly. I'm a very loud person. Well, guess what? There was a woman,
passerby.
a middle-aged woman, probably was like a worker on campus for like in the register or something like that, walking by at the intersection of like my path meeting hers, which is like ages away from where Tim is. Like, didn't make sense why I would be calling out to this boy across the, but like it should make sense because, and I said it as she passed us, and she whipped her head and looked so perplexed.
Now, what does this say about how she views herself? If she responds to, hey, bitch, on a college campus. Like,
I don't think
that must be Cheryl just pulling my leg.
No, I don't think it has to. I don't think it's that. I think it was more on the side of like, I am a woman and people call women bitches, and I am the only woman in vicinity, so it must be me, and I'm mad that you just said that.
I don't know.
I think that's what it there was literally no one else around.
I know, but
and it was like, I was looking directly at Tim, so I was like, yeah, clearly everyone's gonna know that I'm talking to him. No, she was directly in my line of sight, but like, I could see Tim from a distance, and I just shout out to him, and I didn't even really see her face. I saw her like body language change, but I was just like, whatever, it must have been because we were like in her way. But my 2 friends walking with me were like dying on the pavement because they were just like, that woman thought you were talking to her, and you just were disgraceful. And I was like, I need to learn to shut my mouth.
I did it wrong.
I mean, I did that again with coming back to studio. Someone was asking, this is an architecture story, but I'll make it quick. It was just like me coming back to my cubicle, to my desk, and someone was like, should we make a crit list, which is just an order of when we get to talk to our professor about our designs. And I was like, yeah, we definitely should, because then maybe I'll fucking get to go early for once. And my professor was on the other side of the wall and goes, hey. And I was like, well,
I have feelings.
I paused for a second, contemplated, and then just went, well, it's true. Did not help my case.
You can't go back.
Oh, God.
Like, I didn't mean it.
I know. I was like, whatever. I'm going to go all in. She knows me. And, like, she called me out for it later. She's like, well, now that I know that, like, you don't like going... And I was like, we literally never go first. We always go dead last. And I was just like, whatever. I tried to play it off.
Whatever.
But I don't care. We've had some... I've pretty much all of my...
She handled it well.
Yeah. Pretty much all of my professors and just all of my experiences on campus go hand in hand with some awkward encounter because of just, like, someone else being weird or, like, me not handling it the right way. I don't know. Mm-hmm. We can end with the rest of the story. I forgot. Yeah. I diverged quite far
really
from
went
it.
Off the beaten path there. We talked about my old roommate, Mr. Ferdinand.
Yeah.
We went back to freshman year. And
Sorry,
then we jumped ahead
I felt like that was important.
Present tense.
Just because that text about the walrus.
Yeah, that's true. But now we're back to sophomore year. Do
walruses even drink that much water?
I don't know.
I guess everything needs to drink water. Anyway.
Yeah,
so
they're big.
So the wrestlers, the same ones and more of their friends lived across our suite.
They got a whole suite together.
Yeah, sophomore year. So they could really, really hair it up. Could
make everything look like a woolly mammoth just exploded.
And constantly be naked together. Because they would do that. This is not a drill. Like, yes.
I had to pee in their suite once because our suite bathroom was broken. And there were just, like, shavers everywhere and literally looked like a murder scene of some psychopath that, like, took the hair of victims and just, like, shaved it all off their bodies after murdering them.
Yeah. Sounds about right.
Yeah.
These were also those guys that, like, felt entitled to everything and everyone, so we had a common area, and then 4 suites branched off of this common area. So you had, like, a mini little common area for yourself with your suite mates, but then you had, like, the whole floor shared, like, 2 to 3 couches, a coffee table, and then there'd be, like, a TV on the wall. And we never saw this common area furniture because they so nicely, even though each suite got their own personal couch, chair, and coffee table, seemed to need another table and another 2 couches that they would shove into their suite or into their rooms even, which is not allowed as per the housing contract. So super annoying because we never really were out in the common area, but we would like to occasionally, especially if we were just waiting for each other, like in the morning, or just like
you would see if things shifted ever so slightly.
Right.
So there's nothing there besides the furniture.
Yeah. So, and there's like a table against the wall, like a high top table or whatever. So that was the only thing left in this common area at that point because they ransacked the place. So,
gone.
But then one day, we're coming back from studio, like later in the day, or like it was like after dinner or something.
It's a good time.
And what did we see, Tim?
Well, there was an interesting shape and color when we were on our walk back to our dorm. We go over a little bridge because there's a pond that we named Gonorrhea Pond because it looks gross. And
it's
like
cute, though.
You would contract gonorrhea there.
It's got a fountain and some turtles.
Yeah, the fountain doesn't always come on, and the turtles
it's just a green color,
sometimes.
So people make fun of it.
It's green purple, and then like drunk people go in there and they swim and they think they're being funny.
Yeah.
This time there was not a person swimming in Gonorrhea Pond, but there was a discoloration that I could make out in the murkiness. And so on the bridge, we're like, let's take a closer look. We're like, that looks like a nice fine piece of wood. It's attached. Oh, it's an entire table.
Yeah, and we're like, and it's like flipped upside down.
Yeah.
And we're like
the one of the legs was like poking up not out of the water, but like in light trickling through the water. You could see the leg of it.
And we knew this was one of our dorm's tables. Because the dorm that we lived in was like cookie cutter. There were 4 different buildings, but they were all grouped under the same building type. And so they all had standardized furniture. And we knew it was one of the buildings. And it was right off the pond, so it had to be. We were like laughing and laughing. We're like, oh my God, everyone's so dumb. And this was our sophomore year, so we're like, oh, totally was a freshman. And I'm sure you know where this is going. So we go up the stairs.
It was us.
On the 3rd floor.
It was not us.
And this was one of the weeks where our RA had yelled at them to put the furniture back. So
oh, they put it back, all right.
Yeah. So we miraculously... Oh, no. See, this was what it was. Sorry. They didn't take the coffee tables. They would only take the couches. Right. There was only one coffee table. So it was the only piece of furniture in the room was the coffee table.
That's
and
how
then,
we knew it was missing.
That's how we knew it was ours. Because we walked up and we're like, oh, the one thing they never wanted was the coffee table. And miraculously, we don't have one now. And so we were like, cool. Immediately got an email about it, like the next day being like, sent out to all of us being like,
hey,
someone needs
that table, somebody's gonna pay for that.
Yeah, literally, like they were like,
if no one fesses up, everybody pays for it.
Yep, and we were like, that's Communism. Not happening. So then we got to have individual suite meetings with our RA, and he was like, oh, like, do you guys know anything about like this? And we were like, yeah, is the wrestlers. And he was like, oh, do you have like proof, or like, did you see them do it? And we were like, no, but it's their the wrestlers'
actions.
Yeah, I'm
and
like
their drunkenness.
Yeah, I'm like, the proof is their personalities. And he was like, yeah, well, that's like not good enough because we don't want to make them feel targeted, especially if it wasn't them.
Agreed that
yes, he was like,
it was them.
He literally was like, I've had my suspicions, but I can't really just like
you can't condemn them based off of assumptions. No evidence,
right? Because just because their previous actions doesn't mean they did it this time. But we were like,
okay,
dude, they
check
literally
the security cameras.
I'm like, they literally have all of our furniture all the time. When would we even have the time? Like, first off, they're the only people on this floor that aren't really architecture majors or like engineers. So they have all the time in the world. No offense. And so like they were always in their suite. And we're like, they're the only, like, we weren't even in the building when this happened. Like, we left that morning, there was a table. We came back, there is not a table. Wow, I wonder who did it. The only people that are constantly in the building, at least one of their rooms was always there. So it was just like absurd. And we were like, we don't want to pay for this. Like, why are we paying for this when we know it's them? We know they're disgraceful. Like, or sorry, disgraceful.
They are disgraceful.
Disrespectful. So it's just like, it was nuts. We did not get charged in the end. They totally must have, or our building just didn't care. I'm sure they were
interrogated and tortured.
Yeah.
Their nips were
That's
just
what we do here.
They were just squeezed so hard. They were like, we're going to kiss you on the lips if you don't fess up. And they're like, whoa, man, we're not that. We're not that. It was Jerry. Jerry's the one who got drunk and threw it in. They're like, yeah, we knew it was Jerry. Goddamn Jerry.
But also, the table was not removed for quite some time. Like, I'm pretty sure we went that entire semester and it was not removed.
It soaked up so much water.
Like, that table was flipped upside down. We just kept seeing it. Was like a landmark after a while. And I'm pretty sure like it was there until our following semester. Because it
was there for a long time.
It was at least 3 months, I would say. Minimum. Can't remember the distinct timeline.
They definitely didn't reuse that table.
No, but we were just like, classes on campus, I thought, like, did tests for, like, their ecosystems and stuff, like, their types of classes. Like, weren't they doing tests for, like, the fish and, like, cleaning up that water or whatever? And there's just, like, a table casually in there.
Yeah, I don't know.
I never knew the specifics, but I remember people doing something with that water.
Natural formation in this pond.
Yeah, right? It really grew on us.
Heh. Just like the algae.
People used to try fishing in that pond. I don't know if they ever caught anything.
Yeah, our friend Ryan did.
Did he catch stuff? I
remember
him.
He caught fish and they had a little aquarium for him.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's cute. Yeah. But that's the extent of... All of these stories were about other people. Because we don't really...
Yeah, we're not very cool. Or dumb.
I was just going to say, we're not very dumb. So
we don't get belligerently drunk and then throw tables in ponds thinking it's hilarious.
Yeah, we found out that it was.
Yeah, they were caught on like some security cameras too also.
Yeah.
Like, you couldn't make out
They
faces,
also
but you could see it was the
had
group
punched
of
a hole in our wall
them. Yeah.
at some point in the hall. So that was good.
My sweet mate's senior year did the same things.
Everyone does it, you know?
Yeah, I really got to punch in some drywall. Just take some.
But, you know,
girl right
honestly, great.
All in all,
Super great.
it just made the experience so much more thrilling.
It was funny. It's funny in hindsight. It was not funny at the time. Really annoying. But
something to look back on now as a college experience that
it's
didn't
humbling
happen
that
to you.
Like, you just think about it, like, you can never have a roommate worse than them. And they weren't even my roommates. They were suite mates.
Yeah, they felt like roommates.
They did, because they were so
you always have
invasive.
to be on watch.
Yeah.
Like, oh god, what are they doing today?
I just always thought I was going to see them naked, and I just was too worried.
I was so ready to see him.
I really didn't know. I don't think I could.
They also didn't have a door to their suite. They were the one door.
Yeah, they were the only one, and we're like, this is not the one.
hallway.
That's also why they would move the furniture a lot, because it was so much easier, because we didn't know why. Why they just, it was just removed for some reason. I don't remember if it was the height or something. Like, I don't know.
It's like not even that it was removed. There was literally no other perpendicular wall to like where their suite starts. It's literally just a punch out. Like, didn't even, maybe because it was too close to the RA door or something.
I guess.
That, like, the swing
clearance
could hit each other.
Maybe ADA clearance. Sorry.
I don't know. Well, when I was in their bathroom, I don't think they had an ADA bathroom.
No, I was saying, like, if it was too close to the door, maybe the swings weren't ADA. Like, having push clearance or pull clearance.
I'm saying, like, we had the specific ADA. Also, we didn't have an elevator.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, they couldn't have
I
been
was
up
like,
there.
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what the point of that suite was.
Money.
And it definitely...
Something to do with money.
It shouldn't have been them. I guess they purposely probably made it a dude suite, though. Probably wouldn't have
definitely.
Probably couldn't have let it be a girl suite.
No.
But because that was the other thing about our floor. The format was that 2 guys' suites were diagonal from each other, and then the girl suites were diagonal from each other. Not like that really matters that much, but that's why, like, yeah.
Well, didn't some floors alternate or like change it up?
Maybe
like half was girls, half was boys.
Maybe because of like just based on like way LLCs would pick the groups.
Yeah.
But like they tried to stagger it like that if you were just random.
Right.
So.
But yeah, wrestlers. They're
beware.
Great roommates and even better suite mates and even better dorm mates.
Oh. So it's just
they're a riot.
It's a taste of our freshman and sophomore year, really. I mean, there are many other stories that we probably just don't even remember.
I mean...
We have a lot of snow stories of being... trekking through the snow and how Rhode Island doesn't really care about the snow. In my area, it's a big deal when snow occurs. Not as much as the South, but just like snow days would occur on like with only like 3 inches. Here we'd get a foot and they're like, "You're going to class. We're tired of shoveling, so just go. Hope for the best.
Yeah,
or hope your professor doesn't want to come in."
So you get 2 feet of snow, and they're like, "It's not
still
2'6".
Yeah, so we had a good time with that, and losing power. Those are always good times.
Yeah, I don't think we had any wrestling stories for junior year or senior year. Didn't really have wrestlers. We just had weird people.
Yeah, we had my suite mate who her and her boyfriend would argue literally every day and sounded like they were gonna break up every second of the day. On Valentine's Day after Valentine's Day.
It's a good time.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
In another one, maybe not the next one. Maybe the next one will
be... mix it up.
Something else. But I like following this chronological agenda of our college stories.
Yeah. We try to keep a theme going, stringing through.
Yeah. We don't want to keep everybody hanging and then do like 10... 30 episodes, whatever, how many we do.
And we know a lot of the people listening in the beginning anyway are going to be people we know, so we got to mix it up with stuff they haven't heard before.
That's true.
So we'll be throwing some curveballs in. That's why we enjoyed talking about music, because a lot of people don't know about why we listen to music we do,
because people
where
are
we
dumb.
Started. Okay, wow, all right. So
I thought we were going to talk about my music minor, being like, people don't know about like music theory, and that's what I was going to say, because people. People are not dumb for knowing music theory. It's extremely tedious, boring stuff. But anyway, that's all we got for this episode. Sehr gut.
Well, thanks for listening.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for talking to me, Tim.
Yeah. Thanks for... Wait. I was going to say thanks for listening, but you're the one that did most of the storytelling. So thanks for the storytelling.
Thanks. I like to talk.
And really?
Yeah. I hope people...
That's almost like the reason why we came up with our name.
Huh.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
You're just blowing my mind every day.
I know.
Just...
You try to learn something new every day.
I know,
Deanna.
and I just
really
don't ever expect it. Like, you're such a teacher and you're such a mentor to me.
Stop.
Literally stop. Thank you for listening.
Stop.
This is the long and short of it. We're never coming back.
Oh my God. We'll be back for the next one. Don't you worry.
I'm Deanna.
I'm Tam.
And this is...
The long...
and short...
of it.
Woo!
Chaboodles.
Okay.
Boom goes the dynamite.
We'll see you next time.
That was a throwback. See you in the next one.
Woo!
Don't forget about chaboodles. It's a good word.